You know, it's very tough for me, even now, knowing what I know, and as much as I've grown in life and the people that I have around me, still a little tough to talk about things sometimes. But I do have that safe space, and I'm blessed and privileged to have the safe space of you, my lady, and a couple other friends that I could just speak to.
Righteous.
And just really get things out. Sometimes, one thing I will say to the audience out there, I know we do have our guests, is that sometimes you do need to find that group or safe space that you can talk to. Us as males, yes, we do have friends or friend groups that we hang around a lot, but sometimes those groups can be very jokey. They can play around a lot. They can hear things that you're talking, and then they can try to warp it around, and it can mess with your head. Especially if they're joking. I get it. Some jokes are jokes, but your soul cannot tell the difference between a joke, lie, and the truth. You know what I'm saying? Your soul just takes it. It's okay to find people to have a vulnerable and safe space around. Just search. They are there. It doesn't have to be the friends that you hang around with every day. It doesn't have to be the people that you see, but they are there.
It's not only okay. It's imperative to your survival,
literally,
to your mental health, well-being. I think I said this a couple episodes ago. Your home is your dome. Everything about you is created and manifested and working through here. You can't allow a lot of people the space to you're not going to let somebody come in your house and start moving shit around. You shouldn't let people do that. How you feel about yourself and the life around you, you should work on that as your first line of defense for everything. For everything, just for being happy, for being sad, being upset, just being communicative. Like, you gotta be okay here. And I know it's easier said than done, but whether it's a cousin, church, whoever it is, you have to find somebody to talk to, because it's detrimental to your livelihood. Fernie Fern, what you think about that?
I think that you're 1,000% correct. You know, you said your home is your dome. I like that about who you let into your home, right? Everybody can't bring that bad energy. Like, we don't know what your energy is. So I agree 1,000%. Yeah.
Yo, guys, we're going to keep Fernie on the line. We'll get right back to you. Check out the commercial from our sponsors. Peace. What's going on, everybody? We just want to take a second to highlight some of our sponsors.
Smoke by Asia, where you can get premium smoking accessories and information on live green events, as well as the Red Door Creative Space.
Yeah, if you're looking for a place to host your next creative venture, make sure you check out their automated booking site at trdcreativespace.com.
Peace. Back. Sorry for the pause, but we had some things to take care of.
Bills to pay, you know.
You know, some bills to pay real quick.
Right.
You as an educator, and you see children, especially young black men on the daily, how many fights or altercations or arguments do you think you have seen that was masked as something else?
100%.
100%. Wow.
And luckily, I don't see, they're not really fighting in high school, like even when Naheem was in high school.
Yeah, it chilled out a lot.
You know, to my knowledge, and to just like, you know, the school's knowledge, because we do get information afterwards. I haven't had a fight in my classroom since, like, I don't know, maybe 2012 or something like that.
Wow, that's beautiful.
It's love in there. Like, we don't do that. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's about the culture you create. But I like the question that you're asking, because maybe not fights, but just like arguments, beef between men. It's a lack of communication. And a lot of times people are saying the same thing. It's just the emotions that get in the way, right? Like, a lot of times, you know what I'm saying? We're not even at odds, right? But nobody's listening. So you think, you know what I'm saying, that there's some big, like, I don't know, there's some big division, or, you know what I'm saying, somebody's disrespecting you, but no, somebody's just as passionate as you are. Or, you know what I'm saying, somebody just feels that, like, Jordan was better than Kobe. Like, it'd be really stupid shit. Like, think about it, right? It's never really about somebody, you know, disrespecting your family, or, you know what I'm saying, doing anything that would cause you to want to use physical violence to solve whatever, you know, issue it is. A lot of times we're just not listening to each other. And I propose or I argue that it's because people are not taught how to listen. You know what I'm saying? You learn that in a home. One of the things that, I'm a parent, I have a 12-year-old daughter who will be 13, and I'm a very intentional parent. A lot of times it's about delivery. We don't even listen to words. It's about the delivery, right? Like, so if
Yes.
someone is talking to you like this, you know what I'm saying? They could be not even saying anything that's crazy, but the delivery makes you want to buck up, and now you didn't hear them. Now you got to get more aggressive, so they get more aggressive, and then it's a fight. And that's what I'm totally against. I'm about using words. I believe that violence is the lowest form of communication.
Can I ask a question, Fern? It's been some time that I've been in school, and maybe I should ask my cousin this, but I'm glad that you're here right now. Is conflict resolution being taught in schools or in the high school right now?
That's a good question. It's not being taught, it's being used. And there's a difference. You know what I'm saying? So conflict resolution and we have all these great initiatives, you know what I'm saying? And they're all based on conflict resolution, but the explicit instruction of it is not being taught. It is being used. I wouldn't say it would be. It's being used as a band-aid instead of a I'm looking for the word. So, as something that's preventative.
Even deeper than that. So I think a step to conflict resolution is emotional intelligence. You got to recognize the feelings that you're going through, and if people aren't even understanding of that, how can they seek to even get to the bottom of the problems that they're going through? So the reason I asked that is because, when I was in high school, so things that as an adult that I'm looking at life right now, that we should have definitely been taught on or learned: financial literacy, taxes, mortgages, homes, conflict resolution. Huge, because we deal with people every day on the daily, at work, on the street. How many people get, sad to say, how many people get killed, fight, stabbed, just because somebody flipped them off, somebody looked at them the wrong way, when we could have literally just talked it out 2 seconds, and it could have changed the course of everything. But it also starts somewhere. If we're not taught this as kids, then how are we supposed to translate it as an adult? You know what I'm saying? So that's the reason I asked the question, because if we were given that opportunity to learn about peer mediation, conflict resolution, people studying it, actually doing classes, then it would change the perception of the mindset of how to go into situations. Like an example, when you become a gun holder, right? Mm-hmm. You have to be so much more aware when you have that gun on you to not use it, because if you use it, you're going to prison, right? So once you have it at that point, you're going to do everything in your power to not have to use it.
Righteous.
That's conflict resolution. In a sense, because you're thinking, you have to think before you do.
Righteous. I wholeheartedly understand what you're saying as far as learning more effective communication, and I also understand what Fernie Fresh is saying as far as it needs to be more proactive than reactive.
Yes.
All right. And I also understand, again, when you said it should be learned in the home, you gave an example of a little boy being fallen and somebody saying, be a man. But it starts even before then. You can have a baby at the hospital and you say, oh, is that a little boy or a little girl? Oh, it's a little girl. Oh, it's a cute little girl. It's a little boy. What's up, little man? Like, it's
Absolutely.
Very true.
Drilled.
Very true.
The social construct. Yeah, we literally make these things. We made masculinity. You know what I'm saying? We constructed it just like race. You're absolutely right. So you have a penis, right, on a baby. So we're like, oh, let me give him some jabs. Let me, you know what I mean?
Let me go put him in some sport.
Right.
Let me buy him the truck instead of buying him the teddy bear. Right. I agree. Like, masculinity is a social construct, just like race is. So you're absolutely right.
And with that same concept, there is a big difference between males and men.
Man, every man is a male.
But not every male is a man.
Yeah.
Right? And these tools that we need for conflict resolutions, effective communication, emotional intelligence. These are things that we have to learn on an internal aspect, because all the tools, you're not going to get it from outside. You're only going to get but so far, but unless you internalize it and break it down and use it effectively, or even practice using it, practice not yelling at somebody.
Us as adults now, because we realize we have to create the change, because the next generation that we're bringing up, and I'm glad I had a woman like Fernie in my life, because sadly they went through these cycles and see things, or they experience certain things. They can pass the knowledge, the wisdom, experience on to the next generation. Like I said, that could change that mindset. Example, I can tell you, when I was younger, I didn't like dark-skinned women. I don't know why. It was
This
just some
nigga
internal
bugging.
hatred.
I'm glad
we
you
can
bring
bring
that
that up,
up.
bro.
Yo, you bugging, bro. Yeah, I don't know about. All right, go ahead.
We could bring
You
that up.
remember that? He's serious about that?
Yo, Fernie was the reason that I love dark-skinned women.
Yo, you know what? I thought you was his crush,
Nah.
but now I definitively know that you was his crush. We got your crush on the show. That's what we doing out
You know
here.
what I'm saying?
His crush or I wasn't.
Clear. He said he didn't like dark skinned women until he met you.
Now he like,
And
that's crazy.
Naheem, I was about to tell Sienna, his little cousin, that, but I was like, I don't want to blow his whole cover. You know what I mean?
Listen,
It's out there now. We share the seat.
Nah, I don't mind
That's
talking
dope.
about that, because look at that positive change it had. Yo, you see my lady? That's my queen. You know what I'm saying? So it starts somewhere. These thoughts have to start somewhere. And I'm not gonna say that it was my family or something. Society could have did it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Some programming could have came into my mind as a child that made me think that way. But guess what? I had the influence and the opportunity of someone on the outside to change that thinking, to change that program.
All right, just to bring it back, with the conflict resolution, one of my OGs told me men only fight for two reasons: fear or hurt. I want to fight you because I'm afraid of you, or you hurt my feelings. That's it. There's nothing else in between that. If I'm afraid of you, I think you may be able to do something to me, I want to fight you. Or if you said something that hurt my feelings and you may not even know you did it, but you hurt my feelings and now I want to fight. So anything outside of the fear or hurt is a conversation. But if we can't talk past the fear or talk past the hurt, we can never have no real proper conflict resolution, in my opinion. What do you think about that, Fern?
I think that is reducing you to, less of your humanity. I think you're absolutely right. Like I said, I grew up with three brothers. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like you got two lanes. Like you can only feel two things: fear or hurt. You know what I mean? It goes back to my conversation about me watching these babies, these male babies, and it's just like they can only have two emotions. It would be anger, when we're looking at it in our seminars, anger or they can't even express hurt. You know what I'm saying? They can react to hurt, but they can't express that they're hurt. Desire is something, or passion. Yeah, we allow that. We allow that on different sports courts. We allow that in sports, right? Like you can have desire. I want this. You know what I'm saying? I got to get the ball or whatever. And, and anger. And I just feel like, how reductive is that in your human experience when you're saying that anger, right? Or like extreme passion, anger is an extension of hurt. So I agree with you 1,000%.
Order Steps: An Unorthodox Educator's Ascension Story. Tell us a little bit about this new book.
It's not like a part 2 of my memoir, but in a sense it is, and in a sense it's not. So I tell the story of public education that I don't think anyone knows. It is a minefield. It is something else.
Ooh.
And it's particularly precarious for teachers of color. And I had no idea. I thought this was going to be a cakewalk. I thought that, I spent a little bit of time in corporate America. Like I said, after, I graduated with my undergraduate, I was at the Food Network. I had a couple little other jobs, before I went into education. And I'm like, they're teachers. How bad could they be? And I had what I have experienced. You know how they say, I'm glad you don't look like what you've been through?
Right.
I'm still teaching.
Give you kudos and commend you for teaching for as long as 18 years. That's official.
18 years in Peekskill altogether, 21 years. Yeah.
21 years.
I want to commend you as well for continuously persevering and elevating yourself, because you're not. She was an English teacher, African diaspora, Sunni teacher. It just keeps going. Author is just gonna keep going. You didn't just let that one specific role stay to you. You took on many other roles and elevated yourself to the highest degree, and you still keep doing it. I know. I got her on. I know people who's listening to this right now. I got her on a high pedestal, but that just goes to show the influence she had, man.
Don't be mad because y'all can't talk to your high school crush. You suckers! Don't be a sucker and a hater. Be an elevator.
The first time I'm hearing about the crush, you know what I'm saying? I'm honored because he didn't even like black girls, so you know what I mean.
He love them now. Take us through this process.
Anecdotally, I just had one of my coworkers read it 2 nights ago. And she was she sent me about 30, probably the most amount of, because I don't have any stalkers in my life. Thank God. Probably the most amount of text messages I've ever gotten in a row. It was 39 text messages. And she just was like, I can't believe you went through this. I can't believe you went through this. How are you still, this happened? And she works at the building. Naheem, you know her. She's one of the Spanish teachers. Her name is Miss Michael.
Oh, she's still there? Yeah.
They did this to you. They did this to you. And so, without giving too much away, because I want people to really read this book and, just read it, because it's not just, I wrote it as a narrative, you know what I'm saying? And it is a memoir in the sense that it's, snapshots of my life, but the inner workings of public education are just broken. They're broken. You know what I mean? And the system is not designed to make a Jodi Fernandez. It is by the grace of God, and it is by this intrinsic motivation that I'm different. But most people, I would say 90%, and that's conservative. 90% of teachers maintain a status quo.
Right,
and that's bad, because that means they don't really care about their job. No, you're right. I'm not going to say no names, but I can think of a plethora of teachers that just,
I bet,
I'm just doing this so I don't get fired.
That's how it was in the schools that I taught at. Well, at least one of those schools. The other school is pretty awesome, but I got you.
You can have amazing relationships with your students. You can have a perfect teaching record, which I don't even see as a flex. That's what I'm supposed to do. But I know how to ascend to their levels, but that's not my level. My level is this. You know what I'm saying? Make it a relationship to inspire. Like Nip said, is the highest human act, right?
Yeah, righteous.
Yo, Miss, you dead inspired me. One of the best compliments that I got, it was a couple of years ago. I was at a former student's a barbecue. His sister graduated. It was during a pandemic, and I came out. One of the kids was he wasn't a kid, he was 18. He was like, yo, Fern, you dead the bro. Yo, you really the bro. And I almost cried. It was so beautiful to me. And I was and then I was laughing and crying at the same time, because I was like, nobody else would get this. To call me.
Right, the elegance,
yeah,
the elegance,
you know what I mean. And I'm like, I have all these words, and I know, you know what I'm saying, that I've studied the King's English, and I could run circles around anyone, but somebody to call me the bro is the best.
Not just the bro, yo, you dead the bro.
No,
valid.
No, and you know what that means. We know what that means.
Exactly what that means.
You're a girl, but you a different kind of girl. You know what I'm saying? You get me?
Basically, that means I respect you. I respect you to the highest degree. You my family. You my homie.
Get me too. Like you know what I'm saying? Like to be around, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know. Like I just think like I don't want to call myself a guy's girl, but I kind of am. But just to understand, like there's nothing. Like I almost don't even sexualize you because you that dope. Like you know what I'm saying? Like that to me, that's fire. Like you know what I mean? Like I forgot you was a girl. Like let's go.
Yeah,
You dead to bro.
Like you the bro.
That because we like for me, I like being around men. You know what I'm saying? Like it'd be easier. Don't get me wrong, y'all are not without your issues, but like when it's good, it's good. Like you know what I mean? So to answer your question, so that's basically what Ordered Steps is about, and it's about how I was able to navigate these very charty waters of public school education that I never thought existed. And you know how I got to the other side, and like what things I put in place for myself to get there. And the 7% talks about how only 7% of teachers are black, just overall.
You know what's interesting? The other day, I was just talking to one of my coworkers, and I found out that my first black / my first male, he was my first black and first male teacher, is his uncle. And I didn't get that until I was in 5th grade.
Oh, shout out to Mr. Turner.
Shout outs to Mr. Turner. He knew exactly
who
that's exactly who I was talking
that's
about.
That's my homie, yeah. Shout outs to Mr. Turner. My first black teacher too.
Kindergarten, pre-K, hold on. Because I started pre-K. Too. So pre-K, kindergarten, 1st grade, 2nd grade, 3rd grade, 4th grade. I had no male or black teachers. What do you think that does to a young black man as far as role models and things that people who he should look up to?
I dig that. Well, me, I had a few black male teachers, and I also had black male influences that were teachers. Like my Uncle Joe, shout out to Uncle Joe, rest in peace. He taught me how to do the whole bathroom, so I could do the tiles, the sink. I mean, the light switch was upside down, but you know what I mean, he only can teach you what he do. All right, I'm proud of you, Uncle Joe, and it's also amazing the work that you do because everybody remembers somebody or a teacher of a strong influence when they were a kid. Like everybody has that one person when they were younger that they knew that person give a fuck about me, and you've been that for a lot of people. Still. That's awesome. That's very, very awesome.
With that being said, Fern, you said 7% are black educators, but how much percentage of black youth or non-white are you teaching? How many of them? Because then that's a mass or disproportionate representation for the people that they should be seeking guidance from.
How disproportionate it is, it's criminal, right? Because you think about it, most kids, right, in a school like Peekskill, who now I think we're at like 75% Hispanic, because since you were in school,
it's changed a lot. It's very different.
Sort of dynamic to watch, you know what I mean? Because when I came up to Peekskill, I didn't even know where's black people in Peekskill. Literally.
Yo, hold up, Joe.
You trying to play?
Yo, Joe. Now you JoJo. Take it easy, okay, Bronx girl. Take it easy, Bronxy.
The interview, I remember, it was during Regents Week, and this is in the book. I thought it was a white town. I had never been further up than FDR on a Taconic, but I'd never been up on 9. I didn't know what Peekskill was. I thought it was like, somebody told me that was where the Facts of Life was filmed. I don't remember the Facts of Life. I don't know how old you are, but
no, it was filmed there. Yeah,
Yellow Brick Road.
Yeah, all that. Absolutely.
Yeah,
I expected this white, like, you know what I'm saying?
Nah, the Black Panther station used to be where the police station is now. Like, it used to go down.
All that. I didn't know it was black until they came.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that I had black students. I and it was blackity black back then. It was blackity black. It was blackity black. Like, I remember one, I don't know if I should say names, but one student was like, yo, what the fuck is popping this? Like, I was like, what?
He said, oh, these is niggas. I didn't know they had niggas up here.
Like it was,
It's all good.
you know what I'm saying? I was like, oh, I'm home. Like
Just like the Bronx.
my experience at Peekskill it was so rich because I think I've learned everything about teaching that I needed to. I learned how racist it is in terms of like how the teaching force does not reflect the kids. You know what I mean? I've also learned how economics work because it is to work in Westchester is the most fruitful you can be in New York State. Westchester has the highest property. People don't talk about this, and this for my people who are gonna watch this and want to become teachers. Like that's where the money's at. But I had no idea because it was counterintuitive. I thought you should make more money in the Bronx. That's where it's the hardest at. That's where it's more challenging. I didn't know that property taxes dictated teacher salaries. I see you shaking your head, Naheem. I literally did not know that until I saw like the salary schedule, and I was like, "Oh, I'm coming." I took the job because it was parking. Literally,
That's crazy.
It was between Peekskill High School and Lehman High School in the Bronx. It was a fantastic. I got hired at both places, and I was like, "Well, I can't be paying this meter no more."
I ain't gonna lie, I know you would have been amazing at Lehman, but Peekskill needed you. Resonating to this day because this man's son speaks so highly of you. 15 years later from the moment I had you.
I'm gonna sit with that because that's amazing.
It is great to be an educator, but I've learned today it's more important to be an elevator.
Mm-hmm.
That's fire.
So just because I can tell you something or try to educate you on something, that doesn't mean I'm raising your consciousness or awareness to things. That doesn't mean I actually reached you so you'll be susceptible to hear me, but only truly elevators can do those things. And we're thankful to have Jodi Fernandez here with us today. So you gonna stay with us for the show? I mean, we got a little bit longer here.
A little bit, we don't want to take up your whole time.
Yeah, we don't want to take up all your time, but if you chilling, you chilling.
I'm chilling.
All right, no doubt. All right.
So 32% of the stress that we deal with, or supposedly that adds to mental health issues for men, is work. Like being at work, dealing with work, wearing your mask at work, how hard the job is or isn't. And 31% is finances. I can fully understand that because nothing feels good when you're broke. Like when you don't got money, or if you're stressing over money, the world stops. It's like, you can hardly breathe when you're struggling over bills and you're not getting enough hours at your job, or you're not getting the proper pay at your job. That adds to a big part of mental health issues in men.
Mm-hmm. The thing that men have issues talking about is their relationship issues,
right?
Because they don't want. One, they don't know how to express it, and two, they don't want to diminish their partner or make their partner look bad. And Fern, maybe you can attest to this. Women, it's okay for women to shit talk their men, but it's not okay for a man to shit talk his woman.
That is actually a fair double standard in the opposite way, because usually double standard.
Fair double standard in the opposite way. That's crazy.